Hey, Rollo, could you please describe women's agency in different terms? I'd like to explain, Fran, better. This term does not exist in Europe. Yeah, well, okay. So agency is actually a feminist term. That's why I use it. When I say women's agency, and you're using this in the respect that I usually say this on Twitter, which is whenever chicks want to be heard, they take their clothes off. They always get the hashtag. They always get naked, right? Because that's their first impulse. That's their women's first agency. Their only, in most cases, their only agency, their only power. Think of agency as power, right? Their only power, their only way of the only tool that's in their toolbox is their sexuality. And they learn this from a very early, as soon as they grow boobs when they're 14, whatever it is, that's when they begin to understand their effect on boys and then on men later on, because their sexuality is their only form of agency. So when, like this woman, like a good example, when that woman gets to be 34 years old, she's experiencing a decline in her agency and is complaining about it and saying it's men's fault that she can't find a fucking man. Well, I bet you anything, when she was 24, 10 years ago, when she had more sexual agency, she didn't have any fucking problem finding a guy to fucking buy her a drink or to be intentional with her, to be emotionally intelligent. Like, fuck, if guys will fake whatever the fuck they have. They'll say whatever they have to say to get in your pants, right? What was the other one? Lack of effort. They put in a lot of effort when you were 24 years old. I will guarantee you they put in way more effort when you were 24 than they do when you're 34. You know why? Because you had more sexual agency when you were 24 years old. So I don't make the rules. I just work here, man. I just report the news. So when we're talking about agency, the reason why I use the term, specifically use the word agency, is because that's what Gloria Steinem and Betty Friedan used to use. And I'm just basically throwing it back in their face. It's what most modern feminists, if you go to any kind of if you go to a women's studies class, they'll use that term like interchangeably with power. Women's agency, they're empowering, with female empowerment, agency, they'll use the same thing. All it really means is it's just sort of an abstraction or a catch-all phrase for women's power, their ability to do something, and to sort of affect their world, their outside world. Okay. So when I say women's only agency is their sexuality, I'm using that because that's their sexuality is really their power. Once it starts to decay with age, or they age out of the sexual marketplace because the next crop of 24-year-olds have come into the marketplace, that's when they start complaining. That's when you hear this. Like, you don't hear women of 23, 24 say the same things that girl does in that TikTok thing. Why? Because she knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast. She knows that the time's almost up. She has an expiration date. What do you mean, Rollo? Girls can be beautiful into their 50s. Well, yeah, they can if they take care of themselves, but that doesn't have anything to do with beauty. The wall starts here. The expiration date is here, ladies. It's not here. It's here. When you're 34 and you go, wow, I can't compete with a 24-year-old anymore, that's the wall. When you're 38, 39 years old and you're going, I should divorce this guy now while I'm still hot and I'm still this side of 40, because then I can go and find the guy, the one that got away. Then I can go find the guy that is really my soulmate, who fucks me the way that I like to be fucked. And I've already got kids, and this guy's going to be my you're basically making your ex-husband your sugar daddy, but you're not fucking him. Why does that happen around 38, 39 years old? Why do women start picking up personal trainers right around that age? It's a Scooby-Doo mystery. Because they have a psychological deep understanding that their agency is almost up. That's the wall. When women lose agency, can women lose agency? Can they hit the wall when they're in their 20s? Yes. If they get fat. Yes. If they have this bitchy attitude, right? If they have like, women can hit the wall at any age. But again, remember, the wall's not necessarily here. It's right here. I can't compete anymore. Therefore, I need to cash out and get a guy. That's really what the wall or the the concept of the wall, the mental image of the wall is really about female agency and its perishable nature of female agency. So hopefully that does something for you. Like I said, the only reason I use agency is because it's what like feminists have been using for a long time. People know this. When I was at UNR, I had to take a women's studies or class, and I took women in literature, which actually I kind of liked because I like writing, right? But I also wanted to put my money where my mouth was. And people say, "Oh, you don't know anything about feminists." Well, I took women in literature. I understand feminist rudimentary concepts as a result of that. But I also took it because of another reason, because it satisfied a capstone class, it satisfied a humanities requirement, and it satisfied a diversity requirement. Oh, and then also an English requirement. Oh, we got to throw in something utility. Yeah, English. 4 requirements, right? So capstone, humanities, diversity, and then an English thing, right? So that's women in literature satisfied all of those in one class, one 4-unit class. All of those killed 4 in one time. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll take this class.